You're not happy?
Of course, we are not happy because we have seen in the post-mortem reports and everywhere that, and there are many speculations that only one culprit cannot.
CBI has not said anything about the DNA.
That is the most discouraging thing for us, because we, in the initial stages, we thought that CBI will give the proper investigation and lead to the justice. But we have seen that even CBI has failed to do the proper investigation, or even if they have done the proper investigation, they have failed to present the total investigation. So
the movement will go on.
Yes, the movement will go on, and we will see in what other ways we can proceed.
सब लोग मान रहे हैं कि ये मामला एक जन का नहीं है, और फिर जब जो ममता बनर्जी और अभिषेक कहा कि पहले दिन ही गोली मार दो, संजय को फांसी दे दो, एनकाउंटर में मार दो, तो फिर ये नौटंकी की जरूरत क्या थी? हजारों लोग, लाखों लोग, महिलाएं खास करके बंगाल में, पूरे देश में, पूरे विश्व में सड़क में उतरे इंसाफ के लिए। ये सियालदा कोर्ट से लोगों को इंसाफ नहीं मिला, चूंकि सीबीआई आगे नहीं बढ़ी। अभी मोदी की सरकार के जमाने में ये हो रहा है कि ना खाता ना बही, जो ममता कहे सो सही। तो जो कुछ ममता कहेगी, मोदी सरकार की तमाम एजेंसीज उसी बात को दोहराएंगे। इससे उजागर हो गया है कि किस तरह से सेटिंग चलता है।
Sometimes from now, Sealdah court is to pronounce the quantum of punishment of Sanjay Roy, who has been proven guilty, who has raped and murdered the 31 years medical practitioner Abhaya of RGKar Medical Hospital, which shook the nation. Sometimes from now, the judgment will be declared any moment, and you can see that there is a huge security deployed outside Sealdah court. And Sanjay Roy will be either he will be given life imprisonment or capital punishment. On Saturday, when it was pronounced by the additional sessions judge Anirban Das that he has been proven guilty of rape and murdering this 31 years old medical practitioner. That point of time, it was told by the judge to Sanjay Roy that he has to get the punishment, and it will be not less than life imprisonment or capital punishment, because the way he throttled the victim, that is obviously can be considered as rarest of rare. What comes out of this judgment, of this quantum of punishment, is very, very important, because this is one case which has really shook the nation in every way. People were on the roads, but even now the parents, they believe that it was more than one. They are also demanding capital punishment. The doctors are also demanding capital punishment. See that the quantum of punishment will be declared any time from now, and Sanjay Roy, he has now been brought to the court. Any time from now, the quantum of punishment will be declared. Sanjay Roy now brought to the court. The additional session civil court, youth security has been deployed. He will be given the opportunity to speak on his behalf, that what he wants to say. But after that, the quantum of punishment will be declared. It's going to be either life imprisonment or capital punishment. Sanjay Roy comes into the city sessions court, city criminal court of Sealdah, and the additional sessions judge Anirban Das is going to pronounce the punishment. Sanjay Roy brought to the court, and any time from now, somewhere around 12:30, the quantum of punishment will be declared. Though last day he said that he has been framed, but as the court found him guilty, today either life imprisonment or capital punishment will be given to Sanjay Roy. Sanjay Roy is brought in court. This is the most high-profile case. After 5 months, the judgment has come, and now the final punishment, quantum of punishment, will be given to him. But the parents and the section of doctors believe that more than one person was involved. But here, Sanjay Roy, who has been proven guilty, his forensic evidence, the DNA, the biological evidence clearly shows that it was Sanjay Roy who was involved in this case, and who was the guilty, who raped and murdered brutally the 31 years old female doctor Abhaya. And today, after 5 months, the judgment will come. So definitely all eyes on that right now.
Right, so we are expecting that news anytime soon now. Kamalika getting us that report. But let me go straight across now to my colleague Ananya for more about this developing story. Ananya, so that's the big question. Will it be life imprisonment or death penalty? The CBI court all set to pronounce the quantum of punishment. Given the heinousness of this crime, the barbarity of the rape and murder, explain to us and our viewers, the sections under which the main accused Sanjay Roy has been charged with.
Well, Sanjay Roy has been charged with three major sections, that is 64, 66 and 103(1) of the BNS or the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. The section 64 is with regards to the brutal rape and rape of, Abhaya inside, in fact, the particular premises. The 66 goes on to indicate with regards to the vegetative state she was left into. And 103, of course, is in fact the murder of Abhaya is what, he has been charged with. All these three sections, maximum punishment goes up to the death penalty, while, the minimum is in fact a life imprisonment over 25 years. But at the same point of time, what is very, very essential is that the Central Bureau of Investigation, while it is putting forth its case as soon as the arguments on the quantum of sentence begins, would be that whether the CBI would push for a death penalty, because for that it will have to prove that it's a case that is of the rarest of the rare nature.
Yes.
And proving that is something that could actually give out death sentence to, in fact, Sanjay Roy in this particular case. But what happens next, if I could take the viewers through that, Avantika, is that whenever, if at all the trial court pronounces a death sentence to Sanjay Roy into this particular case, this death reference will go to the High Court. The High Court can taking into account this death reference, either ask for more evidence into this particular case, could consider this particular case, and then only after the High Court confirms this death penalty to Sanjay Roy in this particular case can the death warrants be executed against him. However, he also has an option to appeal before the High Court. He also has an option to challenge, if at all the death reference is confirmed by the High Court, to go before the Supreme Court. And the last hope that remains to be seen for Sanjay Roy, if at all of this comes to be comes into totality, is that he will have to file a review petition to that Supreme Court order or go for a mercy petition before the President of India. But would that happen is something that we'll have to wait and watch for. It's a long time, but at the same point of time, today is the final day for the judgment on Sanjay Roy. The fate of Sanjay Roy's life would be dependent on that trial court judge who would be signing that order of death reference or the quantum of punishment. And an interesting fact, Avantika, if I could take the viewers through it, is that whenever a death reference is passed by a trial court, usually it is a practice before, at least in the courts of Delhi and various courts in the country, that the pen with which this judgment is actually signed is actually broken. So this is how a death sentence is actually pronounced by a court. But at the same point of time, establishing that it's a case which falls into the rarest of the rare category is something that could be a tedious task for the Central Bureau of Investigation. I spoke to various senior lawyers and they point out that, since it was a case with much brutality and most importantly a fact that, this was a woman and more importantly a doctor who was working for over 36 hours, who is into healing people, and then also she has met this barbaric fate.
So Ananya, one is waiting for the sentencing that will be announced today, with the maximum punishment being death penalty, and you also explained to us the options that lie ahead for the main accused in case that is awarded to him. But it has been a long, very agonizing, traumatic battle for the family members of the victim, for all those students who were fighting, protesting, seeking justice for their colleague. But it's also been a lot of pressure on the CBI team. If you could just go through, the charge sheet that they put together and the evidence that was collected, because time was of essence and there was a lot of pressure on the CBI team also to deliver.
Well, definitely, there were a lot of challenges for the Central Bureau of Investigation. If I could take you through what had happened in the Supreme Court was when the Calcutta High Court had transferred the probe to the Central Bureau of Investigation, and the Supreme Court had taken a suo motu cognizance of this particular rape case and was monitoring the investigation that was being conducted by the premier investigation agency in the country. The CBI had told the court, that it had entered the probe on the 5th day, after 5 days after the alleged incident had happened, and in those 5 days, not only was the crime scene altered, there was also violence that had taken place at that particular point, and a lot of evidence in this case had already been destroyed.